recently rediscovered my typewriters. I wrote a couple of stories, and in doing so I got a little bit annoyed by the small faults that my typewriters have. For example, on this one, excuse me, for example on this one the bell didn't work, and I now made it working again, and you couldn't adjust the line begin and end of this. This was rusted solid, and all kinds of smaller things on this one. Also on my Triumph typewriter, and well, I decided to give it a go and remove those faults, and in doing so I also repainted this typewriter a little bit because the old colors were showing through. So I'm going to show you what things I have done on my typewriters, and I'm going to show you how that has improved. Okay, we're going to start off with a Triumph. It had a couple of issues which are only very minor ones, but still they delayed the progress in typing you make. For example, very important was the line space lever, and it didn't work because there were two screws on the side that pinched the mechanism, and it couldn't retreat back into its standby position, I call it. So I had to loosen these screws just a couple of maybe quarter a turn or so, and that made it free enough to move, and so now you can basically use it as it was designed. And then also the bell wasn't working. I got that back into business, and basically all the issue was here was a little bit of adjustment in this leverage. You can see that the mechanism here is quite complicated. So there are a series of levers that basically trigger the bell each time, and I could slightly readjust them. They're made to be adjusted, and I could adjust them so that they were really getting the finger over the bell and not just touching it, but actually triggering the bell each time. And now that is basically working nicely again. And those were about the issues with it. I also had to replace a couple of bolts that were missing. For example, the ones that hold the entire top assembly on here. They were missing, so I replaced these. And yeah, it's a fairly nicely typing typewriter. Well, the Underwood typewriter has had quite a life. I assume that probably in the 60s or 70s some hipster painted this in red, in yellow and in blue. And well, the old paint was coming through again, so you could see red dots and red marks all over the place. And so I decided to give this machine a major overhaul. I basically took the entire machine apart, sanded off the old paint and then repainted it. Then I also replaced the old worn backlight keys here with glass and metal ones. Looks nicer, is nicer to type on, and they're obviously not as worn. Then what I had to do next was free up these adjusters here, because they were all rusted solidly. A little bit of rusted grip and made them free again. The next thing that was faulty was the bell. And the problem here was that there is basically a finger going down in here triggering the bell, and there is a latchet that has to recock every time, and there was a spring missing, so I basically had to take the entire top assembly off, move the lever out, install the spring and move it back in again. Was fairly tedious, especially with another couple of springs that hold this under tension being needed to move back in place. Next thing then I did was replace the original thing here that shows you what position the carriage is on. remove it and replace it, because the original one had decals on it and the decals were just completely degraded and gone. And this is basically no more than an old ruler which I had, drilled 2 holes in it, and it fits just nicely. On the side I removed the side covers. The new series Underwoods, they all had metal covers on here, and you know, I just like it when you can see the action going in there, and also the mechanics are just extremely nicely made. On the other side it's the same thing. Here you can see the cogwheel that spins the ribbons. And you may notice that on the top here are 2 brass shields on the left and on the right. They were also completely covered in black paint, and I took sanding paper and removed all the paint. Now of course they optically don't really fit, but after all you have the numbers on here, and as soon as I can I will probably electroplate these as well so that they fit into the rest of the chrome plated look. So yeah, this typewriter also writes really nicely. It's my all-time favorite. And I'm really happy that I gave this the overhaul, met the paint and all that stuff. The paint job is a little bit rough on some edges. Down here you can see a little bit of roughness, but I think that's okay, because this typewriter has had a lot of a life, and I think you should also show that a little bit. So yeah, these are moving again. I replaced the decals on here with some metal stuff. I repaired the bell and painted it, gave it new keys and removed the shields on the sides. So well, that was it with my typewriters. A little bit of an update, I guess. And kick in for the next video where I'll be turning this digital in a couple of months. See ya!